Dragon Emperor Sun Chapter 481 to Chapter 490. But David shook his head. Mr. Song, we don't want anything. I hope that Mr. Song can take us to see the newly discovered mineral vein. David's words made Song Zud's face turn cold, and the expression on his face was extremely solemn. Who are you? How do you know about the new mine? Seeing Song Zud's face change, Wudong hurried forward and said, Mr. Song, we also heard it in the hotel, and many people are talking about this now. Hearing Wudong's words, Song Zud calmed down a bit, and then scolded angrily, Damn, the news is still leaking out, damn it. Don't worry, we won't fight the idea of the new mine. After all, we are only 2 people, and we can't fight with the 3 of you. I'm just curious to see it. David explained to Song Zud. Song Zud saw that David had said this, so he didn't hide it, and said solemnly, I tell you, this time to explore the new mine, but it is very dangerous. Maybe there will be only one family left in the mountain city in the future. Come on, follow me, I don't have the energy to protect you. Don't worry, we will protect ourselves, you just need to take us there. David said. Well, we'll set off tomorrow, but you are conceited about your life and death, but you saved my daughter. I will hold a banquet tonight to thank you too. I will stay here tonight and leave early tomorrow. Song Zud followed David and said. David nodded, but did not refuse. It happened that the Song family was familiar with Hung Shan, and it was suitable for them to carry it. David always had a feeling in his heart that this newly discovered mineral vein might have something to do with Lingxi. David and Wudong were sitting in the living room, and there was no one to entertain them. Obviously, the people from the Song family did not think that Song Tai was really saved by the 2 of them. Maybe they happened to pass by and just picked up a leak. Song Tai changed his clothes, then came to the living room, sat on the sofa on the other side, and looked at David carefully. Did I really save you? You don't look like a master. Even Song Tai himself did not believe that David had the strength to save himself from those powerful robbers. Since Song Tai didn't believe it, David ignored her and drank tea silently with his head down. On the other hand, Wudong looked at Song Tai with glowing eyes, and from time to time he found topics to talk to Song Tai, as if he was licking a dog. Although the Wu family has strength in the Jiangbei provincial capital, they can't compare with the Song family. If you know the 3 words of Mine Boss, they directly crushed most of the family. Miss Song, I heard that you have released a new song. When will it be released? Miss Song, when will you go to the Jiangbei provincial capital to hold a concert? I will definitely go to support, and bring hundreds of brothers to support. Miss Song, are you on vacation at home now, or are you looking for inspiration? Wudong asked incessantly. Song Tai had an impatient look on his face, and answered in a different way. Buzzing. But at this moment, a bee suddenly flew in from somewhere, buzzing. Ah! Song Tai screamed, his face changed color. Bee, bee. It can be seen that Song Tai is very scared. Seeing this, Wudong knew that the opportunity was coming, and immediately confronted Song Tai Dao. Miss Song, don't be afraid, I will protect you. Wudong said, picked up the pillow on the sofa, and began to beat the bees, but after a long time, he couldn't hit them at all, and he made a mess in the living room. Song Tai was so frightened that she curled up in the corner of the sofa, her face was getting whiter and paler, she was extremely frightened. She was stung by a bee when she was a child, so she was afraid when she saw a bee. David, who had been drinking tea without saying a word, frowned slightly, looking a little impatient, but with a flick of his finger, the flying bees instantly fell to the ground. You dead bee, dare to scare Miss Song, see if I don't trample you to death. Wudong was so excited at this time, he directly trampled the bees to death and threw them into the trash can. Don't be afraid, Miss Song, I killed the bee. Wudong said proudly. But Song Tai ignored him, and looked at David in shock. She was not blind, but David shot the bee down with a flick of his finger, without even looking at it. This kind of ability must be a master, it seems that he really saved himself. Song Tai tidied up his clothes, then sat down towards David. Is your name David? David didn't speak, just nodded. Why don't you dare to look at me, are you afraid of me? Seeing that David didn't look up at himself, Song Tai smiled playfully. Afraid of you? Why should I be afraid of you? David raised his head and looked directly at Song Tai. I just have a girlfriend. So dedicated? There are not many dedicated men like you. Song Tai laughed. At this time, Song Tai suddenly developed a strong interest in David. Miss, young Master Wu, the banquet is ready, you can go. The next person came and said. Song Tai patted David on the shoulder, let's go, I'll take you to dinner. David followed behind Song Tai. The Song family's restaurant kitchen had a special building, just like a restaurant. There were more than 10 chefs hired alone. Comparing with the Song family, David's Pinehurst villa instantly became unfavorable. The world of the rich is really unimaginable for ordinary people. At this time, in the restaurant and villa, the round table with a diameter of 6 meters is full of rich wines and dishes. There are all kinds of cuisines, and the colors and flavors are complete. Such a sumptuous dinner, I am afraid that only the mine owner can control it. Young Master Wu, Brother Chen, you can sit as you please. Song Zud said casually when he saw Wu Dong and David. The two chose their seats and sat down, but Song Tai sat directly next to David, which made Wu Dong envious. Seeing this, Song Zud frowned slightly, but in the end he didn't say anything. Old Lu, Master Guo hasn't arrived yet. Song Zud asked the housekeeper. Looks like he's still waiting. It should be soon, the butler replied. Just after he finished speaking, he saw that a servant of the Song family walked in with an old man wearing a white training suit, walking like a tiger, and his eyes were shining. But they are all black. Master Guo, I have been looking forward to it for a long time. Seeing this, Song Zud hurriedly got up to meet him. President Song, Master Guo clasped his fists and said. Sit down, please sit down. Song Zud personally invited Master Guo and the group behind him to take a seat. Daughter, this is Master Guo of Xing'ai Chuan, and you haven't said hello to Master Guo yet. Song Zud said to Song Tai. Seeing this, Song Tai hurriedly stood up. Hello, Master Guo. Ha ha ha, hello Miss Song. Miss Song is really beautiful, much more beautiful than on TV. Many of my disciples are your fans. I'll ask Miss Song to take a photo and autograph. Master Guo laughed and said. No problem. Song Tai said with a smile. President Song, who are these two, look good. Master Guo pointed at Wu Dong and David. Oh, they are from Jiangbei. They are all businessmen who play stone gambling. They happened to save my daughter today. Let's have dinner together. Song Zud hurriedly explained. Who dares to touch Miss Song, is she tired of living? At this time, a man in his mid-30s beside Master Guo suddenly stood up and roared. Mr. Song, this is my eldest disciple Fan Debiao. Now he has more than 70% of my true heritage. He is Miss Song's most loyal fan. Introduced by Master Guo. Those robbers are already dead, and it's still unclear who did it, but I guess it must be someone from the Feng and Lu families who did it. Song Zud said. Don't worry, Mr. Song, this time we are here to help. The Feng Lu family will be honest, otherwise I will let them taste my iron fist and avenge Miss Song. As Fan Debiao said that, he didn't forget to wave his fist twice, and his eyes were full of fiery heat when he looked at Song Tai. Ha ha ha, I rely on Master Guo and everyone, but I heard that the Feng Lu family also invited a lot of masters and masters to come, so we should be cautious, and let Master Guo say that I used the relationship to do a few things. Bring this over here. Song Zud followed Master Guo and drew the shape of a pistol. The corner of Master Guo's mouth raised. Mr. Song, in our eyes, a pistol is not as good as a dagger. This time, it is a duel between masters and masters. The pistol is useless at all, just seeking psychological comfort. Master Guo, is there anyone who is not afraid of pistols? Song Zud didn't quite believe that there were people who were not afraid of pistols. If Mr. Song doesn't believe it, you can try hitting me with a pistol. Master Guo said with an unfathomable look on his face. How can it be? How can I hit Master Guo with a gun? Song Zud shook his head again and again. Mr. Song, just give it a shot. My master is not afraid of any pistols. His speed is faster than bullets. Fan Debiao on the side also said. Master Guo, then Song Zud was also very curious, so he wanted to try it. Even if you come, I can show it in front of President Song, or I won't feel at ease with such a large commission. Master Guo got up and stood aside and said. Song Zud ordered someone to bring a pistol, opened the safety, and pointed it at Master Guo. Master Guo, I can shoot. Shoot, hit my right chest. Master Guo patted his right chest. Song Zud also had this intention. If he was hit on the left chest, if there was an accident, he would not lose his life, but if he hit the left chest, he would hit the heart and kill him with one shot. Song Zud aimed at Master Guo's right chest and pulled the trigger forcefully. Boom! After a gunshot, I saw the side of Master Guo's body, and then returned to its original position. Looking at the body, there is no scar at all, no hit at all. It is good. That Fan Debiao shouted first, and everyone applauded, even Wudong was dumbfounded. But no one noticed that the fired bullet, after hitting the smooth stone pillar behind him, changed its direction and went straight to David and Song Tai. Because the bullet was too fast, no one could see it at all, but David found it and grabbed it suddenly, and the bullet was directly caught in David's hand. Song Tai on the side was also startled, but when she saw the bullet in David's hand, she was stunned. She saw David silently put the bullet in her pocket, like nothing has happened. At this time, everyone was cheering for Master Guo, and Song Zud said excitedly, with Master Guo here, I will go there tomorrow, let me see who can stop my Song family, ha ha ha. At the beginning of the banquet, Song Zud kept toasting Master Guo. As for David and Wudong, no one paid any attention to him. It was Song Tai who kept talking to David and serving food to David, like a very familiar friend. Dad, I'll go with you tomorrow too. Halfway through the banquet, Song Tai suddenly said to Song Zud. Naughty, what are you doing? This is not a joke, this may be a life and death experience, just stay at home for me. Song Zud reprimanded Song Tai. I'm going, don't worry, there is David to protect me. Song Tai now believes in David's strength. Just as Song Zud was about to open his mouth, he saw that Master Guo said, Mr. Song, do these two young people want to go together? Yeah. Song Zud nodded. Mr. Song, isn't this asking them to die? Going to a bunch of unimportant people, how can I have so much energy to protect them all? Master Guo's face turned cold. Song Zud immediately said with a look of embarrassment, Master Guo, the two of them went voluntarily, as I have already said, we are conceited, we don't need to worry about their safety. That's it. Master Guo stopped talking. But Fan Debiao stood up, Mr. Song, let Miss Song go, I will protect her personally, no one can hurt her, if you let this kid protect them, they will be unable to protect themselves. Fan Debiao looked at David disdainfully. When he was just eating, seeing Song Tai talking to David and giving him some vegetables, Fan Debiao was very angry. Since this is the case, then there is labor for the masters. Song Zud nodded and said. After dinner, Master Guo's group of disciples gathered around Song Tai to take pictures, asking for autographs. On the other hand, David silently walked towards the pavilion on the side. Sitting in the pavilion, listening to the insects and watching the stars, it was very comfortable. You don't want to take a photo with me, do you want an autograph? Just when David was sitting in the gazebo in a daze, Song Tai came over and asked David. I don't want to. David said without hesitation. You, Song Tai didn't expect that David would not give any face at all, and directly refuted Song Tai without saying anything. Boy, how dare you talk to Miss Song like that, and you're still sitting. I don't know when, that Fan Debiao quietly followed Song Tai. Seeing David's attitude to follow Song Tai was speechless, and he immediately grabbed David in anger. Song Tai didn't expect Fan Debiao to follow behind him and wanted to stop him, but it was too late. He saw that Fan Debiao grabbed David's left shoulder and wanted to lift David up. But Fan Debiao grabbed David's left shoulder. No matter how hard he tried, David didn't move, but he himself blushed and had a thick neck. Song Tai looked at him. It was a shame. I don't believe it anymore. Fan Debiao saw that Song Tai was looking at him, so he grabbed David with his other hand and worked hard together. But even so, David remained motionless, sitting there quietly, as if no one disturbed him at all. Soon, Fan Debiao was sweating profusely, and he even exerted the strength to breastfeed. He. Seeing Fan Debiao like that, Song Tai suddenly laughed. Song Tai's smile made Fan Debiao seem to have been greatly insulted, and he saw his legs bent down in a lunge, then gritted his teeth, and the blue veins on his face bulged. You get me up. Fan Debiao's face was hideous, and his eyes were so wide that he was almost bleeding. But no matter how hard Fan Debiao tried, David was still as steady as Mount Tai, and he didn't move. Go away. David suddenly spoke coldly, and suddenly Fan Debiao only felt a force attack, and then the whole person flew backwards. How is this possible? Fan Debiao looked at David in surprise. He couldn't believe it was true. But when Fan Debiao wanted to rush up, David got up and left. Hey, don't go, can you say something? Song Tai chased after him. But David ignored her and went back to the arranged room by himself. That Fan Debiao walked over with a gloomy face. Miss Song, I'm a little unwell today, otherwise that kid is no match. Song Tai ignored him, turned around and went back to his room. Early the next morning, Song Zud convened a large group of men and horses early to set out for Mount Hung. Among them, there were several people in commoner clothes, holding ropes and axes, and they looked a little different in the crowd. Later, after Wu Dong's explanation, David realized that these people are the masters of the ore vein entrance. Because they know the location of the ore vein, there is no way to mine it. It is necessary to find the entrance of the ore vein. The location is a mountain for quarrying, which is very prone to accidents, and it is very likely to encounter some strange things. The mighty dozens of people set off. At Song Tai's request, she followed David to a car, and Wu Dong drove the car himself, but after reaching the foot of Mount Hung, they all had to walk up the mountain. After arriving at the foot of Mount Hung, everyone got out of the car. Hung Shan, which was not so majestic at first, was soaring into the sky at this time. Everyone prepared items, but climbed the mountain. Just after walking a short distance, I saw a house built with blue stone, and there were a lot of fruits, cakes, and a stick of incense smoking around the house. Many people were kneeling on the ground and seemed to be praying for something. This made David suddenly interested. It's a bit strange that a house suddenly appeared in the barren mountains and there were so many people worshipping. Mr. Chen, this is worshipping the mountain god. These mine workers, as long as they go up the mountain to find new mines, will worship the mountain god, just like the fishermen before going to sea, worshipping the sea god. Seeing David's puzzled face, Wu Dong explained from the side. As soon as Wu Dong explained, David understood. At this time, Song Zud had already brought the Song family to the house, and set up the prepared tribute, then lit 3 incense sticks, bowed a few times, and brought Song Zud to the house. The family knelt down. Even Song Tai was no exception. He knelt down directly to the ground. You must know that such a big star would usually rush to open an umbrella as long as he was exposed to the sun. Not contrived. After the worship ceremony, the Song family, Feng family, and Lu family finally met. David also saw Mr. Feng, who he saw not long ago. At this time, Mr. Feng was accompanied by an old man with a goatee. The old man wore sunglasses and looked like a blind man, but David felt spiritual power from the old man. This surging is much stronger than those of the warlocks. Could this guy be a monk? David couldn't help but glance at the old man. At this time, Mr. Feng also saw Wudong and David, and his face was shocked. You two are here too. President Feng, stay safe, we are just curious, come and watch the excitement. Wudong hurriedly greeted Mr. Feng. He didn't want to offend any one of them. After all, the matter of this new mine has nothing to do with him. No matter who of the three finally has the right to mine, Wudong will cooperate with him. Watching the fun, Mr. Feng raised his mouth. It's great, today is very lively, maybe you guys will stay on the mountain forever. Mr. Feng's words had killing intent, and his eyes were full of gloom when he looked at David. He had wanted to clean up David for a long time, but now that David took the initiative to send it to the door, he couldn't blame him. When Wudong heard Mr. Feng's words, his heart trembled slightly, but he still said with a smile on his face, President Feng, you don't care about the villain, it's our fault for things in Jiangbei, and we have to cooperate in the future, right? Bah, cooperate A55, find the mine of this new mine, do I still need to cooperate with you guys who are making small troubles? Today, I will teach this kid a lesson first, and let out the bad anger in my heart. Mr. Feng said, and then waved his hands, and the two men walked directly towards David. Did you have a holiday? Song Tai asked David, looking at him. That's right. David said lightly, his face full of calmness, and he didn't care about President Feng's threat at all. Boy, kneel down and apologize to me now. I may be able to spare your life. You offended me, but you dare to come to the mountain city. You are not small. President Feng looked at David and said with a sneer. The mountain city is not yours, I can go wherever I want. David said with a cold smile. Everyone was shocked when they saw David's attitude following Mr. Feng's words. You must know that in Shancheng, Feng, Song, and Liu's three families are like Earth Emperors. How can anyone dare to talk to them like this? Isn't this courting death? Mr. Feng was stunned for a moment, and instantly burst into anger. In front of so many people from the three families, he was scolded by a little boy from David. Where should he put his old face? Today I'll let you know if Shancheng is my home. Mr. Feng glared angrily, kill him for me, kill him. The two servants of the Feng family who originally came towards David instantly increased their speed. The two of them, one left and one right, swung straight at David with their fists like dragons. David didn't dodge or dodge, he stood still, as if he didn't have these two in his eyes. Song Tai on the side saw this, his face instantly became extremely anxious, and finally he rushed up and blocked David, you are not allowed to kill him. Daughter, what are you doing? Song Zud immediately frowned when he saw that his daughter had rushed up to save David despite the danger. Dad, David saved my life. I can't watch him die. If it spreads out, how can our Song family survive? Song Tai said anxiously to Song Zud. Song Zud frowned. He didn't think that Song Tai was rescued by David, but the situation in front of him would be inappropriate if Song Zud didn't act. Just when Song Zud hesitated, the two subordinates of the Feng family did not stop and were still heading towards David, but Song Tai was also within the attack range. Seeing that the two of them were about to fight Song Tai together, Fan Debiao, who had been watching the battle with cold eyes, shouted angrily and rushed to Song Tai in an instant. The strength of the two districts is complete, and they dare to do something to Miss Song. Fan Debiao said, suddenly throwing out his fists. Four fists met, a huge wave of air hit, and the two Feng family's subordinates were instantly knocked out. When Mr. Feng saw this, his face suddenly became extremely gloomy. And that Fan Debiao looked at Song Tai with a proud face. "Miss Song, are you all right?" "It's okay, you are amazing." Song Tai shook his head. Seeing Song Tai complimenting himself, Fan Debiao's face turned red, and then he patted his chest excitedly. "Miss Song, with me, Fan Debiao, no one can hurt you, and whoever dares to bully you, I will do it, kill them." When Fan Debiao said this, he did not forget to give Mr. Feng a provocative look. This time, Mr. Feng was annoyed and yelled at Song Zud, "Song Zud, what do you mean? Does this kid have anything to do with your family? Feng Yi, this brother Chen is my daughter's savior. For my sake, forget it today, don't forget what the business of going up the mountain is." Song Zud said to Mr. Feng. "Damn, I've already died 2 people, you can tell me that?" Feng Yi gritted his teeth. Okay, it's getting late. It's still unknown if we can find the entrance to the mine today. If we can't find it today and live on the mountain, it will be very dangerous. How many people are you arguing about now? If this kid is still alive after going down the mountain, it's not too late for you to seek revenge." Lu Chenjian of the Lu family stood up and made a round. Although the 3 of them are very clear at this time, the 3 families will definitely have a tragic fight on the new mine, but when the entrance to the new mine has not been found, no one will tear their face. "Okay, I'll let this kid live a little longer." Feng Yi snorted coldly, and then took the lead towards the mountain. Immediately afterwards, the Lu family also took people away, and finally Song Zud took them to the end. "Master Guo, do you see how strong they are?" Song Zud asked Master Guo in a low voice. "There are as many as 6 masters of the Feng family, but I can't see through the old man with the goatee. As for the Lu family, there are only 3 masters, so it's nothing to worry about," Master Guo said confidently. "Then there will be Master Lao Guo this time." After Song Zud heard this, he was immediately overjoyed. And David smiled secretly after listening to Master Guo's words. Although this Master Guo is very strong, his eyesight is really not good. David just swept it casually. The old man is even more unfathomable, and must be a master of magic. The Lu family also has 9 masters, the most powerful of which is the big man who is more than 2 meters tall and looks like a bronze man. Don't look at the big man's dull eyes and lack of light, but his strength is no better than this Guo. Bad master. It seems that this time who will lose and who will win is uncertain. Song Zud is too optimistic. David, you will reach the Devil Forest in front of you in a while. You have to follow me closely. If you get lost, you will never get out. After walking for a while, Song Tai walked over to David and said in a low voice. Devil Forest. David was taken aback. It's just a forest, but because this forest is so weird, many people can't find it after entering, not even a corpse, so it's called the Devil's Forest. But don't worry, just follow me and I'll be fine. There is a guide in the team, they are all hunters who are active in the mountains all year round, even the Devil Forest has been in and out many times. Song Tai was afraid that David would be nervous, so he explained. Oh, I see. David smiled lightly. At this time, not far away, that Fan Debiao looked at Song Tai's relationship with David, his face turned green, and his eyes were full of jealousy and hatred. On the way up the mountain, there was a lot more spiritual energy than the one below. David used the concentration technique to absorb the surrounding spiritual energy unscrupulously. Soon, there was a jungle in front of everyone, and the Feng family and Lu family disappeared. Obviously they had already entered. Everyone, be careful, don't leave the team. If you get lost in this Devil's Forest, don't run around, stay where you are, fire flares and wait for rescue. Song Zud said loudly to the crowd. After that, someone started to distribute simple signal lights. As long as the pull ring is pulled, a red signal light will be lifted into the air and red smoke will be produced. Because there are trees in the jungle to block the sunlight, when you look in from the outside, it is dark inside, like the bloody mouth of a beast. Mr. Chen, I'm a little scared. Wudong swallowed his saliva, and cold sweat began to appear on his forehead. It's okay, just follow me closely, don't worry about the rest. David said to Wudong. Wudong nodded, grabbed the signal flare with both hands, and followed behind David. Song Tai was just a few meters in front of David and the others, and from time to time he looked back at David and the others, for fear that David and the others would not keep up. Miss, the master told you to go to the front and walk with him. At this time, a servant of the Song family walked up to Song Tai and said, I'm not going, you tell my dad, I'll go with David and the others. Song Tai sent the servant away. In fact, Song Tai also has his own considerations. He knows that David and Wudong are both outsiders. If they get lost, I am afraid that his father will not care, but if he is with them, Song Zud cannot ignore them. David could also see Song Tai's thoughts, he smiled slightly, and his views on Song Tai had changed a lot. Entering the forest, the light became much dimmed, and a team of dozens of people walked inside one by one. Several masters of the Song family and several apprentices of Master Guo walked on both sides of the team to prevent anything. Danger occurs. At this time, Feng Yi, who was already walking in front, showed a sinister smile on his face, and said to the old man beside him, Master Ma, can you cast spells? The old man nodded, gropingly grabbed a tree with his hands, and then forcibly tore off a piece of bark from the tree. After squatting down, the old man grabbed a handful of leaves from the ground and muttered something. Suddenly, the leaves in the old man's hand caught fire. The old man's palm was as if he was not afraid of fire, and then he placed the bark on the flame at the same time, and the bark also burned. The old man grabbed a handful of powder from his pocket and suddenly threw it towards the flames. Bang! The flame went out immediately, and thick white smoke began to rise. The old man then picked up a branch, bit his middle finger, a drop of blood dripped on the branch, and then the old man quickly drew something on the ground. Soon, a tiger was drawn, and the tiger came alive as if it was printed. Roar! With a roar, the tiger painted on the ground disappeared. Immediately afterwards, one after another fierce beasts were drawn under the branches of the old man, and then disappeared one after another. Feng Yi was stunned when he saw the scene in front of him, and everyone was too breathless. Call! After the old man painted a dozen beasts, he threw away the branches and let out a heavy sigh. Okay, no one of the two of them will leave the forest again. The old man stood up, sweat on his forehead. Great, Master Ma, please. Feng Yi was so happy that he almost didn't jump up, and he was even more respectful to Master Nama. After Feng Yi and the others left, the forest soon filled with smoke, as if a heavy fog had suddenly descended. At first, there was only fog under everyone's feet, and no one cared, thinking that the forest was wet and a little fog was normal. But soon, the fog reached the waist, and then it surpassed the top of the head. The fog was so thick that they could not see each other at a distance of 1 meter. This time, everyone panicked, and Song Zud's face became extremely ugly. Damn, why is it foggy at this time? Song Zud frowned and scolded. Mr. Song, I think we are still connected by ropes. There is such a big fog, so as not to get lost. Facing the mist that suddenly appeared, Master Guo also frowned and said. Okay. Song Zud nodded, and immediately ordered someone to connect everyone with ropes. Roar! But at this moment, the roar of a wild beast suddenly shocked everyone's heart, and they all felt as if they were facing the enemy. What's the matter? When did the beasts come from this forest? The Orion who led the way said in surprise. They have been walking on this mountain for many years, and they have never encountered a large beast, but listening to this roar, it is obviously like the roar of a tiger. David, David! Song Tai, who heard the roar, suddenly panicked, but at this time there was no one around, and she was terrified and instinctively called David's name. At this moment, Song Tai's hand was placed on Song Tai's shoulder, causing Song Tai to scream in fright. "Don't be afraid!" David's voice sounded in Song Tai's ear. Seeing that it was David, Song Tai jumped over in fright, hiding in David's arms and shivering, obviously frightened. When Wudong saw this, his envious eyes were about to pop out. However, David didn't expect Song Tai to be like this. He was at a loss for a while. The body fragrance from Song Tai rushed into David's nose. David worked hard to stabilize his mind. "Close your eyes, I will pull you away, no matter what sound you hear, don't open your eyes," David said to Song Tai. Song Tai nodded and closed her eyes. She now has incomparable trust in David. "Mr. Chen, what the H3LL is going on here? Why is it foggy all of a sudden?" Wudong asked in confusion. "These are not fog, you close your eyes too, I tell you to keep your eyes open, no matter what sound you hear, don't move." David followed Wudong and said. Wudong also nodded. At this time, he had no choice but to trust David. Roar! Suddenly, the roar was getting closer and closer, and there was still no one known. The sound of beasts continued to be heard around, and the whole team panicked. "What?" A scream came from not far away, and this scream made everyone's scalp burst. Soon, screams were constantly heard from not far away, followed by screams, and the sound of running. Song Zud's expression was extremely ugly. He hid tightly behind Master Guo, the only way to give him a sense of security, and that Master Guo also took a stance with a solemn expression on his face. At this moment, David brought Song Tai to Song Zud's side. With such a thick fog, David seemed to be unobstructed at all. "Mr. Song, you tell everyone, don't move, close your eyes, don't open your eyes when you hear any sound, just close your eyes and don't move," David said to Song Zud. Song Zud was a little surprised that David could find himself under such circumstances, but David made them all close their eyes, which made Song Zud very puzzled. "What do you mean?" Song Zud asked. "Boy, there are beasts all around now. You told us to close our eyes and not move at this time. Isn't this making us the belly of those beasts?" Master Guo shouted angrily at David. "Dad, believe in David, he is very powerful." At this time, Song Tai also spoke for David. "Don't be ridiculous, with Master Guo, even if there are beasts, there will be no danger." Song Zud grabbed Song Tai and reprimanded him. "I've dealt with just a few beasts. As long as they dare to get close, I'll let them come and go." Master Guo snorted coldly. Seeing this, David shook his head helplessly. These so-called beasts are nothing but illusions, and they have no aggressiveness at all. Their purpose is to disturb people's minds and make people run around so that they can get lost in this jungle. Middle. But now no one believes him, and David has no choice but to take one step at a time. At this moment, a colorful tiger appeared, baring its teeth, roaring at David and the others. Song Zud was startled when he saw the fierce tiger, and Song Tai also grabbed Song Zud's arm tightly and closed his eyes. "Master Guo!" Song Zud was so frightened that he hurriedly called that Master Guo. Master Guo has also seen it, his feet suddenly glared, and then the muscles around the body tightened, and he slammed at the tiger with a roar. But the fierce tiger didn't seem to care at all, and was still roaring at several people, as if he couldn't see Master Guo at all. "Beast, dare to ignore me!" Master Guo was so furious that a tiger dared to ignore him, which made him feel that he had lost all face. Boom! An even more violent punch hit the tiger, but unexpectedly, Master Guo's punch hit the tiger, as if it was hit in the air, and actually penetrated directly through the tiger's body. This sudden change made Master Guo not in a hurry, and slammed into a big tree heavily. Fortunately, the surrounding fog was filled with fog, and not many people saw Master Guo's embarrassed appearance, otherwise he would be lost. Covering his aching nose, Master Guo walked back, looking at the fierce tiger that was still showing his teeth and claws. Master Guo's eyes suddenly lit up. Mr. Song, I understand, these are not beasts at all, they are illusions, the hallucinations we saw, and they are not real at all. That's why I can't beat this beast at all. Master Guo came to his senses and hurriedly ordered loudly, everyone, close your eyes, plug your ears, and no matter what business you hear, don't open your eyes unless I order you to open them. Although Songzhood didn't quite understand what illusion this was, he loudly ordered everyone in the Song family. Although everyone was puzzled, they still obeyed their orders, closing their eyes and covering their ears with their hands. David looked around, and then suddenly opened his mouth. The thick mist was quickly sucked into the stomach by David, and even the beasts with their teeth and claws seemed to be pulled by the huge suction, and sucked into the stomach by David. Soon, the dense fog filled the jungle returned to its original appearance, and everyone still closed their eyes, blocked their ears, and stood motionless. It can be opened, David said lightly. Slowly, everyone opened their eyes and saw that there was nothing around, the beast disappeared, and the thick fog disappeared, as if nothing had happened. Dad, let me just say that David is very capable. Seeing that they were all restored to their original state, Song Tai followed Songzhood with a proud face. Miss Song, that kid just encountered those beasts in advance. He should have tried it out, so he knew that these were illusions. Didn't I find out right away when I made a move? Master Guo's face was gloomy. Yes, it's not that Master Guo found out the problem as soon as he made a move, what does it have to do with that kid? Songzhood nodded again and again. Now Songzhood is relying on Master Guo, of course he has to coax him. Master, 2 of us are missing. At this time, a servant of the Song family stepped forward to report. It should be that these 2 people didn't obey the order just now. After seeing the beast, they were scared and ran away. I'm afraid they are already deep in the jungle now. Master Guo analyzed it. Just after finishing the analysis, I suddenly heard 2 sharp sounds, followed by a signal flare lifted into the air, emitting a burst of red smoke. Fortunately, the distance is not very far. Songzhood immediately sent someone to find the 2 people back. Looking at the 2 people who were recovered, Songzhood angrily stepped forward and gave them a few big mouths. Did you not obey orders? Songzhood roared. The 2 subordinates were so frightened that no one dared to look up, and they all trembled. Mr. Song, we have to hurry up and get out of here, the sudden appearance of the thick fog must be the other party's trick to delay us on purpose. Master Guo said to Songzhood. Yes, let's go quickly. Songzhood hurriedly ordered the team to move forward. At the same time, out of the jungle, Feng Yi and the others, who had reached the top of the mountain, felt the fresh air on the top of the mountain, and breathed greedily. On the other hand, Master Ma had a bit of excitement on his face. He could feel the spiritual energy here, and it suddenly increased many times. It was simply the best place to practice. Get ready, look for the entrance to the mine. Feng Yi ordered loudly. Soon, the people brought by Feng Yi began to use professional tools to find the entrance of the mineral vein.